He was just stopping for cigarettes. But when he saw the same man by his third chocolate bar in 10 minutes, each time getting closer to two kids who were alone, something from his own childhood made him pay attention. And what he did next didn't just save two children. It stopped a predator who'd been hunting for years. The engine of the Harley rumbled to a stop outside Miller's Corner Store, a small shop on the edge of a neighborhood that sat between suburbia and something rougher. It was 3:47 on a Thursday afternoon, and the school buses had dropped off kids about 20 minutes earlier. His name was Cole Ramirez, though most people just called him Ramirez. At 42, he'd been riding for half his life, wore the patch of the Iron Guard Motorcycle Club, and made his living as a mechanic at a shop he co-owned with two other members. He was a big man, 6'3", with arms covered in tattoos, and a beard that made him look more dangerous than he actually was. He'd stop for cigarettes and maybe a coffee. Nothing unusual, just a quick break before heading to the clubhouse for a meeting. The store was one of those places that sold everything: groceries, lottery tickets, cheap toys, and enough candy to give every kid in the neighborhood a cavity. Ramirez walked in, nodded to Mrs. Miller behind the counter, and headed toward the coffee machine in the back. That's when he noticed them. Two kids, maybe 8 and 6 years old. The boy was older, wearing a backpack decorated with superheroes. The girl was smaller, with pigtails and light-up sneakers. They were standing near the candy aisle, looking at the selection with the serious concentration only children have when making important decisions. Nothing unusual about that. Kids came in here every day after school. But then Ramirez noticed a man, mid-40s, average height, wearing khakis and a button-up shirt that looked too neat for this neighborhood. Clean-cut, friendly face, the kind of guy you'd see coaching Little League or teaching Sunday school. He was standing near the kids, not too close, but close enough to be in their orbit. Ramirez poured his coffee slowly, watching through the reflection in the glass door of the cooler. The man picked up a chocolate bar, a big one, the expensive kind, and walked to the counter. Mrs. Miller rang it up. The man paid, thanked her politely, and walked back toward the candy aisle. He stopped near the little girl. "Excuse me, sweetie, I think you dropped this." He held out the chocolate bar. The girl looked confused. "I didn't drop anything." "Oh, are you sure? I saw it fall from your backpack." The man's voice was warm, concerned. The boy stepped closer to his sister. "That's not ours." The man laughed, friendly and disarming. "Well then, it must be my lucky day. How about you two keep it? I already paid for it." Ramirez felt something cold settle in his gut. He'd seen this before. Not this exact scenario, but the pattern, the approach, the gift, the grooming. The boy looked uncertain. "We're not supposed to take stuff from strangers." "Smart kid," the man said, smiling wider. "Your parents taught you well. Tell you what, why don't you two pick out something you actually want, and I'll buy it for you? Call it a random act of kindness. I do this sometimes. Make kids' days a little brighter." The girl's eyes lit up. "Really? Emma, no," the boy said quickly. He was older, more cautious, but Ramirez could see the conflict in his face. Free candy was tempting, and the man seemed nice. Ramirez moved closer, pretending to browse the chips, positioning himself where he could hear everything. "What's your name, sweetheart?" the man asked the girl. "I'm Emma, and this is my brother Tyler." Emma and Tyler. Beautiful names. "I'm Mr. Peterson. Do you two live around here?" Tyler's hand found his sister's, pulling her slightly back. "We're not supposed to tell people where we live." Of course not, Mr. Peterson said quickly. "I'm not asking for your address. Just making conversation. You know, I have a daughter about your age, Emma. She loves chocolate too. Maybe you two could be friends." Emma smiled, warming up to him. "Really? What's her name?" "Her name is Sophie. She's at home right now, probably doing homework. Say, does your mom or dad know you're here at the store?" Tyler's grip on Emma tightened. "They're at home. We're supposed to go straight there." "Well, I wouldn't want you to get in trouble. But since you're here, why don't you pick out something? My treat. Then you can head home and surprise your parents with a candy bar." Ramirez had heard enough. He walked up to the counter with his coffee, positioning himself directly in the man's line of sight. He caught Mrs. Miller's eye and saw that she was uncomfortable too, watching the interaction with concern. The man glanced at Ramirez, sized him up, the leather vest, the patches, the visible tattoos, the sheer size of him, and his smile faltered slightly. "Hey, Mrs. Miller," Ramirez said loudly. "You seen the Martinez kids today? Their mom asked me to check if they stopped by after school." Mrs. Miller, bless her, caught on immediately. "Oh, yes. They were here about 10 minutes ago. Bought some gum and headed home." Ramirez turned to Tyler and Emma, as if just noticing them. "You two waiting for someone?" Tyler shook his head. "No, sir. We were just leaving." "Good idea," Ramirez said. His eyes shifted to Mr. Peterson. "You with these kids?" The man's smile became forced. "Oh, no. Just being friendly. Offered to buy them some candy." Ramirez stared at him for a long moment, letting the silence stretch. "That's generous, but I think they're good." He looked at the kids. "You two know this man?" "No, sir," Tyler said quickly. "Then maybe you should head home like you planned. Your parents are probably wondering where you are." Emma looked disappointed about the lost candy, but Tyler was already pulling her toward the door. "Come on, Emma." As the kids left, Ramirez turned his full attention to Mr. Peterson. The friendly mask was slipping now, replaced with something harder. "Can I help you with something?" the man asked, his tone defensive. "No," Ramirez said flatly, "but I'm going to watch you walk out of here and get in your car and leave. And if I see you near those kids again, or any kids, we're going to have a different kind of conversation. I don't know what you think you saw, but I was just being nice. I know exactly what I saw." Ramirez cut him off. "I've seen it before. And you're done here." Mr. Peterson's face flushed with anger, but he was smart enough not to push it. He glanced at Mrs. Miller, who was already on her phone, probably calling someone. He turned and walked out quickly, not looking back. Ramirez followed him to the door, watched him get into a silver sedan, and memorized a license plate. The car pulled away quickly, tires squealing slightly. Mrs. Miller came around the counter. "Thank God you were here. I had a bad feeling about him the moment he came in. He's been here 3 times this week, always when kids get out of school." 3 times. Ramirez pulled out his phone. "You get his plate?" "I didn't, but the security camera might have." "Good. Call the police. Tell them what happened. I'm going to make sure those kids get home safe." Ramirez walked outside and saw Tyler and Emma about a block away, walking quickly, the boy still holding his sister's hand. He started his bike and rolled slowly alongside them, keeping distance so he wouldn't scare them. Tyler noticed him and pulled Emma closer. Ramirez stopped the bike and removed his helmet. "Hey, I'm not following you. Just making sure you get home safe. That man in the store, he made me uncomfortable." Tyler looked at him warily. "You're a biker?" "I am. My name's Ramirez. I work at Garcia's auto shop over on 5th Street. Your parents know that place." Emma nodded. "Daddy takes our car there sometimes." "Good. Listen, I want you two to remember something important. Adults don't usually ask kids for help or give them free things unless they're up to something. Real adults, good adults, they know better. If someone you don't know tries to give you stuff or asks you to go somewhere with them, you say no and you run. Understand?" Tyler nodded. "We learned about stranger danger at school." "Good. But here's something else they might not teach you. Trust your gut. If something feels wrong, even if the person seems nice, it's probably wrong. Your instincts were right today. Tyler, you protected your sister." The boy stood a little straighter. "Now, I'm going to follow you home from a distance, just to make sure that man doesn't come back." "Which way are you headed?" Tyler pointed down the street. "Maple Avenue. We're in the blue house with the white fence." "Okay, you two walk home like normal. I'll be behind you, but I won't come close. When you get there, tell your parents what happened. Tell them a biker named Ramirez from Garcia's auto helped you, and tell them about the man in the store. Can you do that?" "Yes, sir," Tyler said. Ramirez put his helmet back on and watched them walk. He followed at a distance, about half a block back, eyes scanning for silver sedan. The kids walked quickly, Tyler glancing back occasionally to make sure Ramirez was still there. When they reached a blue house with a white fence, a woman came out on the porch. She looked young, maybe early 30s, with the tired expression of someone who worked hard and worried constantly. The kids ran to her, talking rapidly. Ramirez saw Tyler pointing back at him. The woman's face changed, confusion, then concern. She said something to the kids, and they went inside. Then she walked down to the fence where Ramirez had stopped his bike. "Are you Ramirez?" she asked, her voice cautious. "Yes, ma'am." He removed his helmet again. "Your son can tell you what happened. There was a man at Miller's corner store trying to lure your kids with candy. I intervened. Mrs. Miller's calling the police." The woman's face went white. "Oh, my God. Tyler, Emma." She turned back to the house, then looked at Ramirez again. "Thank you. I can't even." "Your son did good. He was suspicious, protective of his sister. You taught them well. But I wasn't there. I should have been. You can't be everywhere," Ramirez said gently. "But you can talk to them about what happened. Make sure they understand. And maybe don't let them walk to the store alone for a while." The woman nodded, tears in her eyes. "Can I give you something? To thank you?" "No, ma'am. Just take care of your kids." He started to put his helmet back on when a police cruiser pulled up. A young officer got out, hand near his weapon out of habit, when he saw Ramirez's eyes and the motorcycle club patch. "Ma'am, we got a call from Miller's corner store about an incident." The woman nodded. "Yes, this man, Ramirez, he stopped someone from taking my children." The officer's posture relaxed slightly. "You want to tell me what happened?" Ramirez walked the officer through everything. The man's behavior, the conversation, the license plate he'd memorized. The mother added what her kids had told her. The officer took notes, called in the plate number, and confirmed that Mrs. Miller had provided security footage. "We'll follow up on this," the officer said. "Mr. Ramirez, you did the right thing." Mrs. Brennan, "Keep your kids close for a few days. We'll increase patrols in this area." After the officer left, the mother, Mrs. Brennan, looked at Ramirez with gratitude that made him uncomfortable. "I don't know how to thank you properly." "You don't need to. Just watch out for them." Tyler came back out on the porch. "Mr. Ramirez, is that bad man going to come back?" Ramirez walked close to the fence. "No, Tyler. The police know about him now. And you know what? You already know how to protect yourself and your sister. You did everything right today. But I almost let Emma take the candy." "Almost doesn't count. When it mattered, you kept her safe. That's what big brothers do." Emma appeared beside Tyler. "Are you a good biker or a bad biker?" Ramirez smiled. "What do you think?" Emma thought about it seriously. "Good. Bad bikers wouldn't help kids." "Smart girl." Ramirez put his helmet on and started his bike. As he pulled away, he saw the two kids waving from the porch, their mother standing behind them with her hands on their shoulders. That night at the clubhouse, Ramirez told the story to his brothers. The room went quiet when he described the man's behavior, the systematic grooming, the practice approach. Marcus, the club president, spoke first. "You get the plate?" "Yeah, gave it to the cops." "Good, but we should follow up too. Make sure they actually do something about it." A younger member named Danny looked confused. "Why would we get involved?" "The cops have it." It was Hank, one of the older members, who answered. "Because guys like that, they don't stop. They get caught, they serve time, they get out, they do it again. They move to a new neighborhood, find new victims. The system doesn't always protect kids the way it should." Marcus looked at Ramirez. "You said he's been at that store 3 times this week?" "According to Mrs. Miller." "So he's hunting, watching patterns, finding targets." Marcus's jaw tightened. "We need to make sure every store, every school, every place kids gather in this area knows about this guy. We need his face out there." Over the next 3 days, something unusual happened. Members of the Iron Guard started showing up at places they didn't normally frequent. Corner stores, parks, school zones during pickup time. They weren't threatening anyone or causing trouble. They were just present, visible, watching. And word spread quickly through the community. The bikers were looking out for kids. The bikers had stopped a predator. Some people were nervous about it. Motorcycle clubs didn't have the best reputation, but parents who understood what could have happened to Tyler and Emma were grateful. Mrs. Miller put up a sign in her store. "Thank you, Iron Guard MC, for keeping our kids safe." The police investigation moved forward. The man calling himself Mr. Peterson was actually named David Richter, and he had a record, not for kidnapping, but for lesser charges that had been pled down over the years. The pattern was there for anyone who looked closely enough. The security footage from Mrs. Miller's store, combined with Ramirez's statement and the testimonies of Tyler and Emma, gave police enough to get a warrant. They searched Richter's home and found things that made even hardened detectives sick. Evidence of other children, other attempts, other near misses that had gone unreported. Richter was arrested and charged with attempted kidnapping, child endangerment, and a list of other charges that would keep him in prison for years. 2 weeks after the incident, Mrs. Brennan showed up at Garcia's auto shop with Tyler and Emma. Ramirez was under a car when they walked in. His business partner, Luis, called him over. "Ramirez, you got visitors." He rolled out from under the car, wiping grease off his hands, and saw them standing in the garage doorway. "Mr. Ramirez." Emma ran toward him, and before he could stop her, she hugged his leg, the only part of him she could reach. Tyler walked over more slowly, holding out a drawing. "We made you something." It was a crayon drawing of a motorcycle with a man on it. Behind the motorcycle were 2 stick figures holding hands. Above it, in careful child handwriting, it said, "Thank you for saving us." Ramirez felt something in his chest tighten. He took the drawing carefully. "This is really good, Tyler." Emma helped with the colors. Mrs. Brennan stepped forward. "The police told us everything. What they found, what he was planning. You didn't just stop him from taking my children that day. You stopped him from taking others." Ramirez didn't know what to say to that. He just acted on instinct, seen something wrong, and intervened. But looking at these 2 kids, alive and safe and still innocent enough to draw pictures with crayons, he understood the weight of that moment in the store. "I'm just glad I was there," he finally said. "The police said if you hadn't stopped him, if Tyler and Emma had gone with him." Mrs. Brennan couldn't finish the sentence. "They found evidence of 4 other children, for kids who weren't as lucky as mine." The garage was quiet. Luis had stopped working. Even the radio seemed to have gone silent. "Ma'am, I need you to know something," Ramirez said. "I didn't do anything special. I just paid attention. That's all anyone needs to do. Pay attention when something feels wrong." Tyler spoke up. "Mom says you were watching because you know what bad people look like." Ramirez knelt down to Tyler's level. "I know what bad people do, and I know what good instincts look like. You had good instincts, Tyler. You didn't trust him, even when he seemed nice. That's important. But you didn't when it mattered. You protected your sister. You should be proud of that." Emma, who'd been quiet, suddenly asked, "Can we see your motorcycle?" Mrs. Brennan started to apologize, but Ramirez laughed. "It's out back. Come on." He led them through the garage to where his Harley was parked. The kids circled it with wonder, Emma reaching out carefully to touch the chrome. "It's so shiny," she breathed. "Can you do a wheelie?" Tyler asked. "I can, but I don't. It's not safe, and motorcycles aren't toys. They're machines that need respect. Like how we're supposed to respect stranger danger?" "Exactly like that. Rules exist to keep us safe." Mrs. Brennan watched the interaction with something like awe. "The police detective told me something interesting," she said to Ramirez. "He said you have a record." Ramirez stiffened. "I do. Did time when I was younger. Made stupid choices. That part of my life is over." "I know. He told me that too. He said you turned your life around, that you're one of the good ones now." She paused. "He also said you saw what was happening because something similar happened to you when you were young." Ramirez was quiet for a long moment. "Yeah, when I was 8, man bought me candy, gained my trust. By the time my parents figured out what was happening, I'd been going to his house after school for 2 weeks." Mrs. Brennan's hand went to her mouth. I was lucky. My dad figured it out before things got really bad. But I remember what it felt like, being manipulated, being groomed, thinking this adult was my friend when he was really a predator. When I saw that guy with your kids, I recognized the pattern immediately. I'm so sorry that happened to you. Don't be. It made me pay attention. It made me see things other people miss. And because of that, your kids are safe. Tyler had been listening. So you saved kids because someone didn't save you? The simplicity of the question hit Ramirez hard. Yeah, buddy, I guess that's exactly right. Over the following weeks, something shifted in the neighborhood. Parents who'd been wary of the Iron Guard members started waving when they rode by. Store owners put up signs thanking them. Mrs. Miller started giving free coffee to any club member who stopped in. The Iron Guard responded by increasing their presence in the area. Not aggressively, just visibly. They became a deterrent, a reminder that someone was watching, that predators weren't operating in the shadows unnoticed. Marcus started a program. Club members volunteered at the community center, teaching kids basic safety skills. Ramirez found himself in front of groups of children, teaching them the same lessons Tyler had learned. Trust your instincts. Don't accept gifts from strangers. Tell a trusted adult if something feels wrong. Some parents were skeptical at first. Bikers teaching their kids? But the program was effective because these men understood danger in ways that suburban parents didn't. They'd lived harder lives, seen darker things, and they could explain threats without sugarcoating them. Emma and Tyler became something of celebrities in the program. Their story was used as a teaching example, with their permission and their mother's blessing. This is what grooming looks like. This is how predators operate. This is what to do if it happens to you. 6 months after the incident, David Richter went to trial. Mrs. Brennan was prepared to have Tyler testify, but the evidence was so overwhelming that Richter's lawyer advised him to take a plea deal. 30 years with no possibility of parole for 15. Ramirez attended the sentencing. He sat in the back of the courtroom, watching as a man who tried to take 2 children was led away in handcuffs. As he walked out of the courthouse, he found Mrs. Brennan waiting with Tyler and Emma. "We wanted to be here," she said, "to see it end." Tyler looked older somehow, more serious. Is he really going to jail forever? For a long time, Ramirez said, long enough that you'll be grown up before he gets out. And by then, everyone will know what he is. He won't be able to do this again. Good, Tyler said firmly. Then more quietly, I have nightmares sometimes about what would have happened if you weren't there. Ramirez knelt down. But I was there. And more importantly, you were smart. You didn't trust him. You protected your sister. Those nightmares? They're just your brain processing fear. But they're not real. What's real is that you're safe, your sister's safe, and you're both going to grow up and live good lives. Emma hugged him again, and this time Tyler joined her. Ramirez hugged him back. These 2 kids who'd nearly been statistics, but were instead survivors. You know what I think? Emma said, I think you're a superhero. Like Batman, but with a motorcycle. Ramirez laughed. I'm just a guy who paid attention. That's what superheroes do, Tyler said seriously. They pay attention when other people don't. 2 years later, Ramirez was working late at the garage when a teenager walked in. It took him a moment to recognize Tyler, now 10 years old, taller and confident. Mr. Ramirez? You remember me? Of course I do. How you doing, Tyler? Good. Really good. I joined the junior safety patrol at school. We help younger kids cross the street and stuff. And I started teaching Emma's friends about stranger danger. That's good work. I wanted to tell you something. Last week, I saw a man talking to some little kids at the park. He was asking them questions, trying to get them to come see his dog in the parking lot. I remember what you taught us, and I went and got the park ranger. The ranger called the police. Ramirez set down the wrench he was holding. What happened? Turns out the guy had warrants for the same kind of stuff as that Mr. Peterson guy. They arrested him. Did you tell your mom? Yeah, she cried a lot, but like, happy crying? She said, I did what you did for us. I paid attention and I acted. Ramirez felt pride swell in his chest. Your mom's right. You did good, Tyler. I want to be like you when I grow up. Not a mechanic, no offense, but someone who protects people. No offense taken. What are you thinking? Police? FBI? Maybe. Or a social worker. Someone who helps kids who are in bad situations. Because you helped us, and now I want to help others. That's how it spreads. Ramirez realized. One act of intervention, one moment of paying attention, one person standing up creates a ripple. Tyler would grow up protecting others, and the kids he helped would do the same, and on and on. Whatever you choose, you'll be good at it, Ramirez said. You've got the right instincts. After Tyler left, Ramirez sat in the quiet garage, thinking about the chain of events that started with him stopping for cigarettes at a corner store. If he'd gone to a different store, if he'd been 5 minutes earlier or later, if he hadn't been paying attention, Tyler and Emma would have disappeared. For other children wouldn't have gotten justice. And a young boy wouldn't have learned to be a protector instead of a victim. The drawing Tyler and Emma had made still hung in Ramirez's office. Faded now, but precious. A reminder that sometimes the most important thing you can do is pay attention when something feels wrong. That night at the clubhouse, Ramirez told the story about Tyler to his brothers. The room was quiet when he finished. Marcus spoke first. That kid's going to do good things. Yeah, Ramirez agreed. He is. Because of you. Because someone paid attention when it mattered. Hank raised his beer. To paying attention. To protecting the ones who can't protect themselves. To doing what's right even when nobody's watching. The club raised their drinks in unison. It wasn't formal toast or a sacred ritual. It was just men acknowledging a simple truth, that good people have a responsibility to act when they see evil operating in plain sight. Years would pass. Tyler would grow up, attend college, become a social worker specializing in child protective services. Emma would become a teacher, working with at-risk youth. Mrs. Brennan would volunteer with organizations fighting child trafficking. And Ramirez would continue writing, working, teaching safety classes, and paying attention. Because he understood something that most people never learned. Evil doesn't usually look evil. It looks friendly, helpful, trustworthy. It buys candy and asks questions and slowly, carefully, lures children away from safety. But good people who pay attention can stop it. One intervention at a time. One protected child at a time. One moment of courage at a time. That's the real story. Not about a heroic biker who saved the day, but about an ordinary man who saw something wrong and chose to act, who understood that silence is complicity, and that looking away is choosing the side of the predator over the side of the child. And in choosing to act, in choosing to intervene, in choosing to protect 2 children he'd never met, Ramirez started a chain reaction of good that would echo through generations. Because Tyler would save children, and Emma would protect students, and the kids they help would help others. And on, ripples spreading outward from one moment in a corner store when a man decided that paying attention mattered more than minding his own business. If this story impacted you, subscribe to The Healing Narrative for more real stories about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Drop a comment telling us where you're watching from and whether you'd have the courage to intervene if you saw something wrong. Hit that like button if you believe good people have a responsibility to protect children, even when it's uncomfortable or scary. Share this story with someone who needs to understand that heroes don't wear capes. Sometimes they wear leather vests and ride motorcycles and simply pay attention when others look away. Because that's what saves lives. That's what stops monsters. That's what makes the difference between a child going home safely and a child disappearing forever.